Hi, this is Anita from Real Estate Crunch. There's a huge debate which seems to be growing in the real estate market. Where do you invest or where's the future of real estate? Is it urban living or is it suburban living? Recent studies, particularly in the United States, suggest that suburban or urban living, your preferences vary, depending on local conditions. In some areas, people may prefer urban living is more desirable due to the access for the amenities and potential for property value appreciation, while others it may be suburban living. So this really is a hard one to answer because it really depends a lot upon the individual. And in this study that I read that was in the Washington Post in a recent study, they said one of the problems was that this was particularly more in like Washington, D.C., where, downtown it was extremely expensive. So when people looked at, do I want to live downtown and live in a tiny apartment, or if I go outside the city, I can buy a house and have land. And they looked at the differences between commute, where they have these new developments that you see coming up all around. I see them like when I was in Utah recently. I saw these all over Utah where they have a train system, they have apartments there, and very close to the apartments are some stores and restaurants. And so basically they say it's within a 15-minute walk that people can, within 15 minutes, you can walk to the train. Within 15 minutes, you could walk to the grocery store. Within 15 minutes, you could get to restaurants, you could do other types of shopping. I myself, having lived a lot of times in major cities, I can understand the appeal to all of that, to be close to all the amenities and be close to everything. But on the other hand, I've also lived out in the suburbs, and I also understand the appeal to being out in the suburbs, having some land, not having your neighbors next to you, not being in an apartment building, being able to, sit outside on your patio or sit up, out in the front of your house and to have, some privacy without people looking into you all the time. And, you get in your car and you go shopping and, maybe you have to go 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is, but I can also see the appeal for that type of living too. So let's look at both of these and then maybe, you can decide whatever you think is best. Urban living there's some advantages to it. There can be a high demand and appreciation, especially if you're in a major city. The apartments are expensive there. There can be a high demand and appreciation. There can be rental yield potential with a large pool of potential tenants, including professionals, students, and young families. Urban rental properties often yield higher rental incomes compared to suburban counterparts. Diverse lifestyle. They can offer this diverse lifestyle, this interesting lifestyle. There could be entertainment, dining, nightclubs, and this vibrant sort of atmosphere. And a lot of people, they thrive on that. They want to be able to walk down, the street from their apartment, go to a bar that they enjoy going to, go to restaurants, being entertained. So they love that. It can be walkable in public transportation. You don't have to, depend on a car. So, you can have a, walkability might be another factor, another reason why people might say, hey, I really want to live in an urban setting. Some of the challenges, of course, could be the high cost of living. It can be expensive. You maybe don't have the stores there that are even the cheaper stores. If you really, like, for example, if you live downtown and you really want to go to Costco, you might have to drive quite far. There could be limited space. Apartments and condos often come with less square footage, so there could be smaller space. And there could be competition. There could be lots of, high demand means increased competition. Suburban living, on the other hand, is usually a lot of times if you have a family, a lot of times families, they prefer to be out in the suburbs, or the burbs as they're called, that they usually offer larger homes, so there's more space, a quiet environment. There could be more privacy with that too. Some of the advantages of suburban living is it could be more family-friendly atmosphere. Could have a lower cost of living. It can have a more quiet environment. Things can be more quiet. And it can sort of this community feel to it. Like suburban neighborhoods can have the strong sense of community if you're living in the right neighborhood. If you're not going to have that. But if you happen to have that, you could. I know some people that live neighborhoods that are great where the neighbors look out for each other and it's a really great neighborhood and they get together for activities and other things. And then I know where my own parents lived, we hardly saw our neighbors at all. So it really just depends upon the neighborhood itself and who your neighbors are, if they're friendly or not friendly. Some of the challenges of suburban living is like you're really reliant upon the transportation. The area I grew up in, there were no buses at all in the city. Still today, there are no buses in the city. So anywhere we needed to go, we either had to walk, bicycle, or get a ride. So you're really heavy dependent upon personal vehicles. There can be limited amenities, meaning that some may lack immediate access to cultural entertainment and dining options. In order to do any of that, you may have to travel quite a distance. My sister now lives in a place where, to go anywhere, to be able to get anything is already 20, 25 minutes. And potential for slower appreciation. There could be, depends on where you're investing again, there could be slower appreciation of the property. So, the question I really feel between urban living or suburb is really, what is your main goal? What is your preference? Do you want to live like in a city setting? And that's why you're seeing a lot of this, this revival in a lot of the cities where there's this urban renewal and mixed use developments going on. And with the remote work, though, at the same time, more people have said, well, I want to live out in the suburbs. I don't need to go into the office all the time. So it really just depends more upon what are your goals in this? Where do you want to invest? And will you be there long term? If you're going to raise a family there, you're going to get a home, you're going to raise a family there, then maybe it might be you want to go out in the suburbs where you might feel like you have a better quality of life. If you're single and you're working in the city and you feel like I just want to have a small apartment, you might find the apartment living in the city might be the best thing for you, and it may be the thing that makes you happiest. So I believe that this between the urban and suburban is really, a lot of it comes down to individual choice. And maybe there's not one right or wrong answer in this, but it's according to what are your specific needs and what do you want out of life. We've written a blog post on this, which is entitled The Future of Urban versus Suburban Living, Where Should You Invest? And if you'd like to be able to read more about it, we'll put a link in the description. And then you at the end of the day can make the decision yourself and decide what is best for you and for your investment. Thank you so much for listening. We certainly do appreciate you, our listeners.